You just bought your first rental building and you have absolutely no idea what to do next. You're at the right spot. I spent 10 years trying to figure this out, and every couple years there's like a new tool or a new mechanism. And so I'm just gonna tell you all the things that I do and I set up once I bought my first rental. And this is where I coach other people, because a lot of times people find themselves in a building and they're like, cool, I got the building, now what? These are in no particular order. I found that some are really valuable towards the bottom and they should be at the top, but really all this stuff is just good to know and nothing is really better than anything else. They all should happen or need to happen. This video is not sponsored by anyone. This is just me and what I do and use. There's a bunch of do's, there's a bunch of don'ts. Should I have a rental management company? Should I do it myself? Should I put my property into LLC based out of this LLC so I could do this LLC? I go over all of that, and I'm gonna save you the time and money so you could just jump right into stuff, automate what you have to automate, and then get out normally and then go do your normal life. And by the end of this video, ideally, I want you to have a higher level of confidence of moving forward with your decision and a higher likelihood that you'll smash that like button below. But without further ado, let's just jump right in. Hey, my name is Slavik. You've come to the real estate stuff and you probably just realized that you know nothing about this $500,000 asset that you just bought. And if that's you, then you're here at the right spot. And I'm gonna talk to you about the 10 most important things that I wish somebody told me when I had started this a while ago. I've put these together over the years. I help people acquire so many multifamily buildings that I might as well come up with a little walkthrough tutorial of the biggest things that I think are important that I would do if you just got into your first rental. This could be a duplex, it could be a fourplex, it really doesn't matter. They should all be treated similar. The number one thing that I would establish is a credit line. You wanna have a credit card and you are to use that card specifically for this property and any rental or business expenses. Like you're gonna have utilities, you're gonna have little odds and ends you're gonna buy, you're gonna have to auto pay something, you have to pay the lawn people, you're gonna have expenses, and it's a fantastic way for you to track all of those expenses on one card while getting the rewards on that one card. In the same aspect, you want to get a designated bank account where the rent goes in and then the security deposits sit. And so that account is specifically isolated and dedicated for rent collection, and you can easily count up and track if the deposits have been made. The credit card is also going to help you isolate all of your things. For example, at the end of the year, you may want to account for how much money you spent on utilities. You can reference back that credit card statement if you have to, but there will be better ways to monitor that moving forward. The second thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to leverage technology as much as you can. It's 2024. Nowadays, people can pay their rent with a click of a button. You want that convenience, and it takes a couple of steps to set up in the beginning, but it's 100% worth it rather than tracking cash, making sure they deposited correctly. All the banking features you can just totally avoid by using automation. You can use a rent collection service like apartments.com or Zillow. You can set it up. It's free, which is fantastic because I use apartments.com and it is absolutely amazing and it doesn't cost us any money. So they must make money somehow else, because I would pay for the service that they provide for free, and their customer service is absolutely amazing. And this isn't even sponsored by apartments.com. That's just what we use. A couple years ago, when we made the switch from physically collecting rent to apartments.com, it immediately saved hours. So lean on a method like that to collect rent. Part B of this is most of those softwares also include leases right in them. They automate your paperwork. You can do extensions, you can do addendums, you can do custom note, you can do anything you need to right through the platform, and it'll send it out for signatures and let you know when it's signed and automatically apply things like late fees and prorated rents whenever you need to. You're gonna wanna automate your bills. Sometimes you're gonna pay electric and water. You're gonna have these flat rate bills connected to your building. You're gonna wanna automate it, but not quite set it and forget it. Last year, I noticed the water bill was pretty consistent at a building, but then over 1 month, it spiked to double. And before I caught on to it, it was almost at triple the amount per month. This really eats into a lot of your profits, but the thing is, a leaky toilet can actually cost quite a bit of money. I think we spent $800 on a water bill, which is normally not more than $200. So the third thing that you're gonna wanna do is knock on all the doors and meet all the people that live in that building. You wanna introduce yourself and you wanna talk about any expectations on maintenance problems and how they're gonna pay rent. So this would be a good time where I would go in and I'd talk about, hey, I do automated rent collection. Let me send you the link. Here's my contact information. They're gonna need a number to call if they have an emergency. This is where you wanna do that. and actually lean in to learn more about the people that live in your building. It's also a good time to understand, like, are there any upcoming maintenance problems that you might be able to get ahead of? One of the worst things that you can do in a building when you own it is deferred maintenance, because that problem gets worse and worse. It compounds on itself. And so an example, like a leaky toilet is not a big deal except the water, but that leak spreads outside the toilet and then it starts rotting and eating away at the materials. And so that repair gets more and more expensive. Your tenants are probably going to remind you that they got a leaky toilet. So when these little maintenance items come up, your best bet is to fix them right away. So that way you can get right to the bottom of it very quickly and stop the bleeding in its tracks. Tip number 4 is just consolidating your information. You're going to sign this big packet of paperwork at closing to acquire your building, and chances are you're not going to look at that document probably for a long time, if ever. But when you do need to look at it, it's really easy if you just have it uploaded in like a Google Drive. I use Google Drive. I just keep all my stuff online there. That way you could do stuff on the go. You could keep leases there, any communication you've had, your purchase paperwork, your insurance paperwork. So a couple months ago, I shopped around and I put all the buildings under different insurance policies, whatever was cheaper. And so now I have the documentation on my Google Drive to easily access. You can keep photos there, you can keep rental stuff there. It is absolutely fantastic to just isolate all your things to make it easy on yourself in the future. Do not sleep on the fact that you will have a problem one day that you need a contractor for. This is a really good time to get a little contractor list going on. You don't need anything fancy. You need like a handyman, really. Asking a couple of people around you or your friend who would they recommend as a contractor, but also lean on your realtor because they're there to provide as much value as they can. And most realtors are actually really resourceful with and know a bunch of people and businesses in the area. Get yourself a contractor, and you're not going to want to push that button very often. But when you do, make it easy on yourself. Save them in your phone contacts. So if you got to push that button, you can easily push it just like that subscribe button right below my finger. Number 6 is download the actual handbook for your area. I'm going to link the one in my area below, but you should be able to Google this and you'll find it pretty clearly written. Ours is called the Landlord Tenant Handbook. And when you Google it, save that in your Dropbox as well. Just have it in there because what you do is you provide housing, but in a way you're also responsible for people's livelihoods, and there are rules and do's and don'ts in what you can and cannot do. And it's really important that you know that, because if you do something incorrectly, like they could press charges against you. Having it ready at your fingertips is really, really easy. I've been doing this for about 10 years. Every once in a while, I'll open it up, I'll Control F, I'll find a topic I'm talking about. It's really quick, and I'll just get note up on it. That way I'm in the clear.
You don't have to raise your voice.
You pay you!
I can give you half.
You pay! No,
And number 7 is a reserve account. Now you're gonna want some cash in the background. You may never use this, but it's good to have a little bit just in case that credit card can't cover an expense because maybe that contractor doesn't take card. You've got some cash to change out. 5 to 10 grand normally covers a lot. And the idea is you should know any large expenses that you may have upcoming. Like, you should not ever find yourself in a position where the roof, the heating system, and whatever else needs to get repaired. I mean, those are 3 massive items. That way you've got an idea that maybe in the next 10 years, the roof will need to be done. And so you're putting a little bit of money away here and there just to cover that expense when it does come up. Number 8 is LLCs. Now, the person that's telling you to put your properties into LLCs based out of certain states, because then you can pay yourself this way and your LLC will own that, and then you essentially own nothing. All that stuff is told to you by people that are probably trying to sell you an LLC. Now, they have a time and a place for them, but at first, you're in your first building. All you really need is some bomb-ass insurance and maybe an umbrella policy on top of that. I think mine was about $500 or $600 for the year. It covers you up to a certain amount, for example, 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, and it's there to catch anything that falls between the cracks. If there's a freak accident and all of a sudden that specific accident is not covered by your insurance, so you're SOL, but the umbrella policy will cover you and help you with that cost and offload that. Insurance is meant for catastrophe, not for inconvenience. Having bomb-ass insurance and an umbrella policy is all you need for right now. I'm not saying that they don't have a good use, because they absolutely do, but until you're acquiring assets in the 10, 20, 30 unit range at the same time, I just don't think that that's a useful strategy at this moment. Your time and your effort on other things is going to be a lot more valuable. The most important thing to realize here is you just bought a building. This could be a duplex, it could be a triplex or a fourplex. It's a big move. It feels like if you have excited butterflies in your stomach, like that's a good feeling because ultimately you're growing your net worth, you're covering your housing expense, you're planning for your retirement all under the same thing. You're leaving stuff for your children, you're saving for a college fund. A multifamily like a fourplex can do that all under the same roof. So it's a fantastic move. So you have to understand the numbers going out and the numbers coming in. Ultimately, at the end of the day, is a brand new landlord. You cannot control how people live. What happens inside their walls is completely up to them. And frankly, unless they're disturbing other people or look into your county codes, generally you have to stay out of their inside life. You can't tell them how to live their life and what they can and can't do to a certain extent. Chances are the month that you close your building in and the next month, you don't have a mortgage payment if your loan officer structured it a specific way. So if you close it, for example, in October, you won't have a mortgage payment for October or November. Your first payment should potentially be in December, but you still own the building in the meantime, so you can still collect rent. And when you purchase a building, that initial amount of rent coming in is a little bit of a safety net for you that you will have there. Most of the time when you acquire a building, it'll already have tenants in it. There will already be people living there, calling that their home. That lease protects them, it protects you, and you're not supposed to break that lease, but you can renew that lease and update it to your own terms once that lease hits renewal. I lived at my own building for a couple of years when I first bought it, and frankly, it's just like living anywhere else. People have this stigma that someone's gonna be knocking on your door over a runny toilet in the middle of the night. That just doesn't happen. It doesn't play out the way that Hollywood makes it play out because it has to be over dramatized on Hollywood. And so if you found these items helpful, this is one of my first videos. I don't really know what I'm doing, but if you found this helpful, smash that subscribe button or hit that like button. I don't even know which one is best right at this point. I'm just trying to make videos that have some value for the people that I help at work, and maybe they could follow up and watch these videos. I'll see you on the next video, which I have no idea when it is, but thanks for watching.